Hi, all. In this talk on good strategy, bad strategy, we're looking at chapter 9. And chapter 9 covers the concept that Dr. Rommel calls using design. And this is the idea is that a careful strategy, or a thoughtful and effective strategy, is carefully designed. It's well thought out. It's not just by happenstance. It doesn't come through luck. In fact, he would say that there is very little luck or going with the flow or taking things as they come in good strategy. One of the things one of my sayings I really like to hear is that the harder I work, the luckier I get. And I really think that's true. You often look at people, oh, they're so lucky. Well, they've often usually worked very, very hard for that luck to occur. What this chapter really, the points are, is that a good strategy is the result of premeditation, anticipation of which others' behavior, and a design of coordinated actions. So when we look at premeditation, we've kind of looked at that before, but the concept is, as we just said, is that you have to think, you have to use your head, you have to do everything you can to know what you're doing and what you can do, and that you have to work hard to come up with a good strategy. Anticipation, in Dr. Rummel's case, is knowing your target customer and competitor behavior. Remember, in classic strategy development, the competitor is very, very key. We'll have a very interesting talk, in next one really, on the blue ocean strategy concept, which is completely different, and I think for that reason very interesting. However, for the most part, a lot of companies, you're working with your environment, you're looking out and you're seeing your competition, your products at your target market, what you're trying to do, and that's the basis of your strategy. The anticipation is knowing those things and really understanding the drivers. You have to research, you have to have knowledge, you have to have a track record. You look at your projections, your trends, all those things go into your anticipation. You're anticipating based on facts. You're anticipating based on research. You're anticipating based on what you have done in the past and what your competitors are doing in the past and what's happening right now. So your anticipation is not just a guess, it's a well prepared or thought out guess. You're knowing as much as you can to guess as best you can. And then the design of coordinated actions. Your decisions and choices. One thing, look, and it's true, decisions and choices are always made at the expense of others, exclusion of others. If you decide to do one thing, you usually don't have time or the resources or the ability to do something else. Look at that in your own life. If you go to the movies, you can't exercise. If you exercise, you can't do this. If you spend 2 hours doing this, you can't spend 2 hours doing that. If you love to paint as a hobby, you may not have time for it if you're working 14-hour days in some project. So everything you decide to do is an exclusion of a million other things you could be doing, and companies are the same. What they decide to do means they're not going to do other things, and that's very healthy. And it's really clear. It's good to be able to tell people as you become more of a strategist, we're doing this, and I know that means we're not going to do that. Leave it clear that we know by this choice we're not doing these things. We're doing this, not that. And I think you'll see very healthy results. Apple is the classic case. When Steve Jobs came back after he was pushed out of the company, he just cleared up so many things. They had dozens of different products, reduce it, and go from there, and it makes a huge, huge difference. Now, a design in this case is used to indicate a strategic plan need to take many, many variables and put them into a cohesive and clear, understanding their interdependencies and the impact, but making a clear way forward for them. There are always trade-offs, like I just said, one of the key things of any leader is to find the optimal mix of those trade-offs. There are many different things that have to be done. There are people, there are resources, there are capital, there are premises. You have locations, your risk tolerance, your time, your materials, your costs, so many different things. You bring all these together. What's the best mix of those things? How can they all be working together to the best way forward? If you only focus on cost of funds, you may find yourself limiting other things. You might not have enough money to do what you want to do. You may think, I need to make more loans, but it's going to cost me a bit more. Well, make it up on volume. Conversely, if every incremental thing actually costs you money, don't do it. So you have to pull all these things in together. The other key thing I think he makes a good point is that your success can lead to laxity and bloat and then eventual decline. You see the product life cycle that kind of goes in a you go up as you get market share, then you get to the peak, and then everybody buy, and then your competitors come in, your product gets old hat, new things come in, and the product side goes through. That's very normal. It's very normal for business. You have to really get on top of that and understand, as we see in the principles of strategy, that you have to reject the concept, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. In fact, that's never the case. All things run down, all things slow down. That's the basic concept of entropy. They need to be re-energized, reinvigorated, and reinvented to remain sustainable over time. So it's really key that you always, everything that's happening, no matter how good it's going, you need to constantly think, what can I do to tweak this? What can I do to make it better? How can it be more sustainable? And that's all in your head. It's thinking and it's research and doing the best you can to make the best decisions possible. Thank you very much.